In this series of screencasts, I'm going to be talking about writing in plain legal English. The essential idea of plain legal English is that whether you're writing an essay for university, a note for a partner or barrister, or a document that will go to a client, or a government report, what you write should be easy to understand, it should be clear, and it should be accurate. So while plain legal English is a phrase we associate with, particularly, say, professional writing by solicitors, barristers, or attorneys in other jurisdictions, it's an essential legal skill and one that we should pay much closer attention to at a university level. So what am I basically trying to get across here? My essential point is that all writing is about communication, and you need to think about your reader. Whether you're writing for a court, for a client, or for university, writing is an act of communication. There is simply no point to writing something that is never going to be read by anyone else. It isn't an act of self-expression. It's not really about presenting yourself to the world. It's about communicating your ideas to someone else. In the case of, say, an exam, it's about communicating to your reader, your examiner, that you have not only knowledge of the course, but an understanding of the course, skills of analysis, and ability to lay out an argument. So even in that very formal context, you're attempting to communicate. You're not just laying out your knowledge so someone else can measure it. So it doesn't matter what you write or why you're writing, you should be thinking about your reader. So the essential point I want to make, far more vital than anything else, is if you're trying to communicate with someone, then your goal is to make the reader's job easy. Good writing will make the reader's job easy, and bad writing will make it hard. So with that in mind, what I'm going to do in these recordings is go through what I think are sort of 18 principles of good practice in legal writing. These are largely adapted from a particular book, which I'll talk about in a moment. But before getting into any of those principles, there are a few key points that if you got nothing else out of listening to these presentations, I'd be very happy if you went away with these firmly in mind. So really, everything else I'm going to say boils down to these basic propositions, these 4 points. Your goal is communication, so make your reader's job easy. And following from that fundamental principle, a short sentence is easier to read than a long sentence. So as much as possible, keep your sentences short. Third point, plain, short words are easier to understand than long words. And finally, signpost. Topic sentences and clear headings, numbered and not too many of them, will allow your reader to follow where you're going. So by topic sentences, I mean that every paragraph you write should contain one essential idea, and your approach to that idea, your argument, the key point you're going to make, should be summed up in the opening sentence. So someone in a hurry should be able to read your entire essay or piece of work. From here on, I'm probably just going to talk about documents. They should be able to read the topic sentence of each paragraph of your document and have a reasonably good idea of what the whole thing is about. headings are incredibly useful for all professional writing, and particularly for lawyers. If you have headings, you're communicating potentially a lot of information at once, and if you're working against a word or page limit, you're probably saving yourself many words, because instead of having an introductory sentence or a long expository paragraph that explains to the reader what's coming next, you have this clear heading which just tells them where you're going. So the entire point of signposting is that there's nothing more frustrating when you read a document, and you've probably encountered this yourself. You suddenly go, wait a minute, how did we get here? Why is the author discussing this idea? What have I missed that we've come to this point? The objective of signposting is to lead your reader by the hand through the whole document. So they should always be clear about where they're going and how they've got here. And the two easiest ways to do that are the use of simple, clear headings and consistent use of topic sentences and good introductions and conclusions to your documents as a whole. And we'll go through that in a little more detail. Now, there are many, many good books out there on plain legal English. For simplicity, I am largely going to be referring to one of them. So much of my presentation you'll find is adapted from Brian Garner's Writing in Plain Legal English from the University of Chicago Press. Now, Garner is largely writing for American law students who face a particular type of writing course that is designed to help them, prepare them for life in practice. So it's very practically focused. He lays out about 50 principles. I'm going to be adapting to my own style, really, about 18 of those. But one of the reasons to recommend his resource is that the exercises from that book are available online at this URL. And I would encourage you to go and look at his broader range of principles and click through and try more of his exercises than the little sampling I'll be taking in these screencasts. In the next of these recordings, we'll start looking at some of the 18 guiding principles that I want to take you through and that I'd strongly suggest you apply to all of your writing. So thanks for listening, and I hope very much you'll tune in to the next of these screencasts.